We're starting off high.
We can get
I
a
think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
no, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise back wolves.
before I would trust a human to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, welcome back to Do Fools Agree. I am your host, Michael Reggie. As always, here with my main man, Cliff Jennings. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right.
Cliff?
I'm all right.
You making it through?
I'm making it through. Continuing.
Slowly but surely.
Scratching and surviving. Good time.
You know? Good times. Man. Well, we are another weekend.
Another short one. Short week.
That's true. We're doing this on a Thursday night because I'm going to be out of town. So, you know, I'll take the blame for changing it up. Oh, man. So, what's going on? You got any inadvertent thoughts to get us going this week?
Inadvertence. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this.
Well, let's see if we can figure it out together.
I need to start writing down full thoughts. I see. Because my notes are just notes. So okay, so I know it has something to do with the misconceptions that we carry, like as far as like the expectations of a certain situation, like how like you wake up and you're dreading a certain situation in a day, and you end up having like the best day type shit.
Okay. Yeah.
Or it's like you're at work and you have to make a phone call that you're like, man,
I do not want to have this conversation.
And it goes better than you could have ever imagined. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. In the call, like, well, damn, that, like, it's almost like, I mean, of course, I don't want to get deep out the gate, but it's almost like you're your biggest enemy.
Well, I think that's I think 9 times out of 10 that's the case. It's you talking yourself out of your ability to do something.
Right.
And then generally when you get in the situation, if you're well prepared, it ends up not being that big a deal. I think this also ties into some conversations I've had with Shar lately, just around like, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago about how the fact that like she'll sit and think about a situation over and over and like try to, and honestly I feel like she goes to like one of the like worst place, right?
I'm one of those people.
Like, oh, this person is mad at me because of X, Y, and Z, when in reality, nah, they just got other shit going on.
Right.
They could care 2 shits about that situation.
I'm one of those people, exactly. Like if I was a mathematician, like to equate my problems to that, like if I was a mathematician and you gave me a formula, I would try to fuck the formula up as much as I could before I found the answer.
Before you got it right.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's like I have to immediately go to the worst possible outcome and work the formula out from there, as opposed to.
But I think that goes back, like, I think you and I are naturally pessimistic people, and if you expect the worst,
I would say that, right?
Then you're either pleasantly surprised, or there's nothing that will surprise you.
Maybe that's why my like maybe it's not a misconception. I'm just always, like you said, I'm always thinking negative. So everything ends up being gravy in the end.
Well, I think that's generally how it is. And I mean, for me, it always comes down to a level of preparedness. Like, if you're prepared, you can pretty much wing anything.
No, I agree. And I try to be prepared for anything.
Well, and you were talking about, like, the work situation. For me, with the work situation, what it ends up being is, as long as I say it without stuttering over myself and I say it with confidence, people gonna believe me.
That's because what I've noticed.
That's what makes me a good leader.
That's because what I've noticed in corporate America is it's not always the people that are equipped to be in the position, but the people who don't ask questions.
I think so.
Because the more questions you ask, the more you end up being that problematic employee.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, very few places that exist actually, operate
are actually looking to optimize.
Right, you know what I mean?
Right. They don't actually want to address the issues. They want to keep moving with as little problem as possible.
Exactly. So when you get the people that don't ask questions, you can bullshit them.
Right.
You can say shit with confidence without stuttering, and they usually eat it up because that's what they've been used to doing their whole corporate career.
Yep.
And that ends up where we are now. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I think for me, so I will say early in my career at my current employer, I think I had a reputation for being a quote-unquote troublemaker in terms of somebody who would question and question and question.
Right.
The thing is in order to do that effectively, you have to make the right alliances. Meaning you've got to have the right people in your corner that will back your play on that. And then then you can make things happen.
Right.
The problem is if people don't know you and you haven't established that trust and you will never make change in that regard.
Right.
And this is something I talk to the folks that report to me all the time. I'm always telling them, like, right now you are in your trust building phase.
Right.
You are showing people that you can do good work and that you ask the right questions at the right time and you know when to drop something.
Right.
You know when to say, all right, this isn't a hill worth dying on.
Yeah.
And I think that was always my thing early in my career was I was ready to die on any hill because I knew I was right. I was a cocky son of a bitch.
It's hard it's hard to like not feel that way when you see something that's just so blatantly
absolutely
obvious. You know what I mean?
Well, especially when the answer is, well, that's just the way we've always done it. Right? Like, honestly, that ends up being the problem. To your point. That's kind of how we're in the situation we're in now.
Right. Like, this is explaining 2020. We're not just talking about corporate America. This is 2020 as a whole. Like,
we are at a point right now with leadership in this country that believes that they could just play on people's emotions, and he's been able to do that successfully. But when you're faced with a real crisis that you didn't actually create,
you know what, white America,
it's a problem.
You know what, white America, this is what happens when you don't spank your kids. Honestly, though.
I mean, do you think Trump wasn't hit when he was a child?
I'm sure, but not in the same
way a black family would have.
Not even that, because there's two different reasons you would hit your child. Discipline. I'm sure there's more. In my realm of thought, there's only two, and the only one is acceptable, and that's discipline. The other would be shame. I'm ashamed of you or what you did, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel more Trump got hit with.
True.
But the reason why I say that is because we're in a tell me why generation. You know what I mean? Kind of like when your kids would be like, why? Like, you'd be like, shut up and go to your room. And they'd be like, well, why?
Right.
Before you get your motherfucking ass whooped, that's why. But now that it's been, you can't spank your kid. Well, certain people can't spank their kids.
I hear you.
It's like, well, tell me why. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because that question is, I was never that type that would be that shut up when you ask me a question like why. Unless you're just being a smart ass, you know what I mean?
Right.
Kids tend
if
to
it's
do
like
that.
the 13th or 14th
But if you're asking a why question, and even if you're questioning my authority as a parent, I would like to answer that for you.
Right. Absolutely.
Honestly, as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I can't answer that for you, then I then need to internalize as to why I feel that way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not what we do in corporate America or in America in general, and it's trickling down to all aspects of life at the current moment.
No, I think you're right. I think that's where we're at.
I switched my inadvertent thought.
You switched it?
I switched it to whatever that was.
There you go.
That was my inadvertent.
Well, you got me beat this week because I really don't have one. I think my only one that kind of came up this week with it being, 4th of July weekend.
Uh-huh.
I feel like this may end up being the least patriotic 4th of July in the history of our nation.
I think so too.
And it's because it's from both sides. You got the left basically saying we are ashamed of who we are right now. And you've got the right that wants to make America great again, which must mean they don't believe it's great right now. So who the fuck is out there being patriotic? The military because they're being paid to be?
Listen, I mean, let's be 100% honest. Whether they want to admit it or not, they're definitely going to see a decrease in black buys this year.
Well, no, they won't. You want to know why?
Why?
Because the black community, at least by my experience on the east side of Columbus, Ohio, have been lighting off fireworks since Juneteenth. Right. They've been doing their own shit.
Well, that's the firework. That's the firework.
I bet you. I wish I was going to be around this weekend because I bet it is quiet here on the 4th.
You know what? That's a good question.
Curious.
I am myself. I'll keep you posted on that.
I think that would say a lot.
It's not going to be in my neighborhood because, like you said, like they do it all the fucking time.
Right.
And then I'm in a mixed neighborhood too. Like there's everything in my neighborhood. Blacks, Mexicans, whites, so I'm sure I'm still going to hear some things. And let's be honest, black people are going to barbecue because we would do that Monday through Friday anyway if we had the opportunity.
We got a day off?
You know what I mean?
Day off?
Speaking of, I'm going to get a grill tomorrow.
Are you? Nice.
I got to hurry up and do it before the 4th comes.
Char bought me one before.
But I shouldn't even buy anything 4th of July weekend. I won't get one. I'll borrow one.
I got one. Char bought me one for Father's Day. That was nice. Yeah.
I just need a little, the little 1999.
Like Weber grill.
Yeah, the
charcoal.
little fold out. But
I don't
want to I don't want to buy anything 4th of July weekend. I feel like it's the whole weekend, not just the day.
You might find some deals right now just because I think retail.
Well, no, I'm just saying spending my money on.
Spending it. All right.
Right.
I got you.
Because it still is tied into 4th of July.
What do you like cooking on the grill?
Well, I don't do pork anymore, so.
Oh, see.
No, I do beef ribs, though. I still do beef ribs.
All right.
I got some beef ribs in the freezer. That's why I was thinking maybe I should. Beef steak, chicken. Not a big hot dog. Like if kids and, if you're entertaining people,
yeah,
yes.
My family loves hot dogs. I love burgers.
I'll take a burnt hot dog, but if I'm grilling out for me, like an intimate setting, just a couple of us, I'm not putting hot dogs and brats on the grill. I want chicken, steak, or...
I think that's what I've been missing out on. We haven't been doing them a lot, but we've been doing hot dogs recently because my mom loves them, my son loves them.
That's my favorite, on the grill is my favorite hot dog.
My wife likes them too, and I'll eat them because they're there. But haven't been doing any brats. I gotta remember to get brats and sausages.
Gotta remember to get
Usually
brats.
I'm big on sausages.
But it's harder to find brats in my situation now because, a lot of them are mixed with pork.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like you gotta find like a chicken brat.
Turkey brat.
Right.
Yeah. Nah, I've been, so my mother-in-law, so my wife got me the grill for Father's Day. My mother-in-law got me these little, and my mom chipped in on the grill too. I know she's out.
Oh, it must be a nice grill.
It's good. It's a good propane grill.
You love the propane.
It's just quick, man. I can't. Here's
you
my
can
thing.
manipulate flavor more with the coal, though.
I hear you. You can manipulate flavor. You know what you can't manipulate as well with the coals?
What?
Time and getting them hot.
Well, no, you gotta remember because you gotta prep them first.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it takes a longer time for coal to heat up than it does for
Take about a good 15-20 minutes.
Now I've also been working with some busted ass charcoal the last couple of times I've done a charcoal grill because the coals have been like a year old.
Even if they're self-light, I still get lighter fluid, but I don't like to use a lot of it because it'll, give
it gives that taste. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I also get hip to the you put you don't because you use the propane, the wood chips.
Oh no, I'm with you.
The maple and the hickory wood chips to put in with the coal.
At one point, I had actually fashioned I lie. I had a girlfriend in college who worked in a machine shop, who basically fashioned a metal plate, a metal grill that you could put the wood chips on top of the propane.
Oh, really?
So like you had the propane flames down here, and then you had a grill on top below the actual grill,
right? And
where
you
could put the chips.
That's smart.
She did that in she was a mechanical engineer, so she did that in the metal shop in college.
That's intuitive.
That was love back then.
That's intuitive. I almost want to ask a name because the image of this girl is very burly. No, you ought to say.
Why don't we just say basketball player?
Okay, I think I know.
Blonde basketball player.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
I know exactly
yeah, no, you met her a couple times. I'm big on the. So we got these. My mother-in-law got me these. They're like little kebab grills. So it's like a little box. That like you chop up the veggies and put the beef in or the pork or whatever it is.
Oh, they got you together like you can cook.
It was nice.
You can't cook.
Yes, I can.
You can't cook, motherfucker.
I'm the one that cooks
you
in this house.
I'm all right. I do remember you cooked some things that I was impressed with.
I mean, you used to love my nachos back in the day.
But they nachos.
A little Kobe cheese just on some tortilla chips.
Oh, no, but what's that one shit you made what was it, like that taco lasagna or something?
Oh, Mexican pizza. Mexican lasagna is what I call it. Because it was basically like taco. It was kind of like a crunch wrap, except it was like 4 layers.
I don't know, but that shit bang. That's all I will say. That shit bang.
I could do a little something in the kitchen.
I will say.
My problem is I don't have patience anymore.
I love to cook. I hate the heat. That's really what it comes down to. I feel like if I could deal with heat, that would probably.
You're talking about like outside and grilling.
In general, whether I'm in like an actual like working in a kitchen, because I've been like like preps and shit in kitchens, and that's just it's too much. It's too much heat. You like the shit you gotta wear. You know what I mean? Like I would have to be in shorts and sandals.
And no shirt.
Damn near. But I wouldn't do them like that. I wouldn't do them like that though because I'm not gonna sweat in your food. You feel what I'm saying? I wouldn't do them with the no shirt. But if I did do no shirt, I definitely wouldn't sweat in your food. And I'm I won't say hairless, but I'm a very smooth individual. I'm a smooth criminal. I'm a Michael Jackson. Annie, are you okay? Is what I'm saying. Nah, I'm playing.
I think you should just beat it, man.
Right. Motherfuckers. Nah,
you met Billie Jean?
That wasn't Billie Jean, but you're on the list.
I was just keeping it going.
Right. Listen, let me fuck that up for us.
I mean, we don't really have any topics, so.
Well, we can Michael Jackson pun this bitch
all the way to the end.
Right.
Oh, man.
I thought we had a couple, didn't
we? We do have a couple. So I think when we talked earlier in the week, we're looking for just, honestly, something different other than our usual shit. So I took to Twitter, Mr. Jennings. I took to Twitter. And so what I ended up doing was just kind of looking at what was trending all week. Which, by the way, we have a new Twitter. Check us out at Foolproof Net.
Let me do that.
Foolproof Net.
I should probably do that.
You should have been tagged and you were added in at least 2 posts this week from the Foolproof Net. So
to my Twitter.
Yeah, so check your mentions and then come back and follow.
They don't show you past 20. Once you get to 20 notifications, it stops adding, so I don't ever.
So you don't have any now.
I don't get new shit. They don't tell me.
They're just like, nah, fuck him.
Right.
So yeah, we do have a Twitter now. We actually have a. We have a.
Foolproof Entertainment
Instagram too. I don't fuck with Instagram, so I got
Foolproof
nothing.
Net.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got our little cartoon on it, so.
I'll follow that.
There you go.
Bang. We did that.
We're doing it. We did
that.
I've been using that to basically once a day just post whatever's trending.
Listen, no, that's what's up.
Hit the trending hashtags and keep it going.
That's what's good. That's what's up.
But so we got that going on. But I was just looking at
I think I'm learning this now.
Are you? I mean, Malcolm was right. You got to do the hashtags, and I wasn't doing enough with the hashtags. So
on Twitter?
Yeah, it's all about the hashtags.
It was ats.
Ats is how you actually tag someone, but if you want it to be seen by the community at large, it's the hashtag that's important. So for our Twitter, so like with the Foolproof Twitter,
right?
Like Throwback Thursday. Hashtag Throwback Thursday.
Okay, I see.
When you look at, because people look up hashtags more than they look up people.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
You can look up hashtags?
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's the thing. So you'll see with all the Foolproof tweets, they're all like, they've got like 3 or 4 hashtags in each one of them.
I only
trying
follow
to game the
4
system.
people, I believe. You know, the whole reason why I never like Twitter is following. I just hate that terminology.
I hear you. Well, I think that's actually why like the hashtag thing makes sense to me. So you don't have to follow people. You could follow hashtags or look up hashtags.
Right.
And
but I also can't. You can't have the Foolproof page and you don't follow anybody. You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, we don't have to follow anybody.
I'm getting over it though. But I don't like that terminology. It really does irk my nerves.
I hear you.
Like even clicking that follow the R page made me feel like
don't at me, bro.
I don't like that shit. I'm not a fucking follower.
So we were So I checked out a couple of the big stories that came through on Twitter this week. I guess Terry Crews ruffled some feathers.
I saw a few things about that.
I mean, so the gist of the tweet was, let's not let Black Lives Matter become Black Lives Better.
But what was he insinuating from that?
I think he was trying to insinuate, like, and not knowing him, I don't know what he was trying to insinuate. I can tell you what the conjecture from the rest of the Twitterverse was.
Please.
The conjecture from the rest of the Twitterverse was basically saying, oh, he doesn't want to see black people do better than white people, is what that intent of that message was. So Black Lives Matter becoming Black Lives Better means he doesn't want to see it become Black Lives should be better than white lives. Which I don't think, in terms of Black Lives Matter, that's not the message from Black Lives Matter. We've talked about this week after week.
Well, see, here's the thing, though.
Equality. It's not superiority.
This is the thing. This is the thing that a lot of people have to understand, and it's all convoluted at the moment.
That Terry Crews is a big dumb animal? Because he's a big motherfucker.
Well, listen, we'll get back to his bitch ass. We'll get back to his bitch ass. And I gave LeBron the business, and I love LeBron. Oh, Terry, we'll get back to your bitch ass. Listen, I wish I had my shirt off and I've been working out. I do my right. But what was I saying beforehand? What were you saying? You were saying
I was talking about Black Lives Matter becoming Black Lives Better.
So I would like everybody to understand out there that Black Lives Matter and black people are 2 different things. And it's starting to get way weird with the Black Lives Matter as far as, like, we're not...
Well, it's because white folks have appropriated.
I mean, let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. I'm almost, like, not... Because I know these words can come off weird, but what of my words haven't come off weird? I'm starting to look at these articles about Black Lives Matter being run by... the white dude with the nut sacks under his eyes. What's his name? I don't know his name, but I've been seeing pictures and they talking about Black Lives Matter is actually run by so and so. I wish I had saved it, But regardless, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I wouldn't put it past. Like, I wouldn't put it past them. It almost seems real BET-ish to me at the moment.
Okay.
Like where you call it black entertainment television, but white folks is running it.
They run it.
Putting dumb, ignorant ass movies, Hot Boys by Master P.
Well, I mean, that's generally where it's the white savior complex, right? And we've talked about this. And I'm trying to think. I actually used that terminology earlier this week with somebody from work because I was reaching out to our African American resource group for the company I work for.
I wish we had one.
I basically came out and said, look, I was hesitant to even reach out to you guys because I understand like the whole white savior complex. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to be here for you guys. If you need a sound off point, if you need somebody to deliver your message, like
that's what's up, though.
I'm here for that.
That's what's up, though.
And
that's
but
what's up.
The same thing is, I also don't want to become like the voice in our company around it either. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm a white dude, like,
you know.
And I've had this conversation because we have a big diversity and inclusion initiative where I work, and.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've inquired before, like, what can I do to support this? Obviously, not being part of the diversity.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what my role is. Like, I can figure out my role as an ally, and I did. I joined the African American Resource Group.
Right.
And I've asked to be a part of the D&I committee.
What's that?
Diversity and Inclusion Committee. So.
Before you continue, that's another misconception I would like everybody to understand is just because something says African American on it does not mean that we do not want white people included in that.
Absolutely.
That makes us feel even more comfortable because it's like just for you to want to be included in that lets us know exactly where you're coming from.
Right. And I think from my perspective, it was around, like, if you're trying to make this type of training, diversity training or implicit bias training, which we talked about even in our, our Black Lives Matter episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that whole thing, like, if that's something that they want to push for, but they're making it, the company is telling them, well, you can't make it mandatory, but you can offer it, is kind of what's being told.
Right.
Like, I have no problem making it mandatory for my associates.
Right.
And I will.
Right.
The people that report to me, no, you need to do this.
Right.
And it's not because I think they're bad people. It's not because I think they're racist at all. It's because I think everybody should go through that training at some point in their life and in their career.
Right.
So.
No, I just wanted to clear that up. And it's funny because my friend, he added me to my friend, a future guest on the podcast. I won't name any names. We'll have it be a rollout. But he introduced me to a gun club on Facebook.
Okay.
And it was, I can't remember. Oh, it was the Tulsa rally. It was around that time. Okay. And there was a whole bunch of white people in this group. Like, people that you wouldn't think thought that way. But that were like, man, I would really love to go down there and show my black brothers and sisters support. But I don't know how they would take a white guy like me with a gun, and I'm like,
well, especially because
you have to let that go, and that's all I could say to the dude. And he got like 300 comments, but that's all I could say is all the black people in there were just saying, "Go, brother, go!" Yeah. Like, if that's how you feel, go. Like, that's what people aren't gonna. We're gonna give you a chance to speak your piece. Right. You're gonna have a chance to say what side you're on. You know what I mean? Even the people on the opposite side, it's not like as soon as they say Trump 2024, you're like, well, no, it's not like you get gunned down in the street. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if you feel like that's something you want to stand behind, go. You are welcome.
I think that all comes back to, I think India was the one that used the terminology, the white fragility, right? Is we're afraid to have the conversation for whatever reason. And I'll admit that, like, I've been there, like, because I don't know what my role is here. I want you to know that I'm supporting you.
Right.
And I also want you to know that I don't know how to support you. So help me help you, kind of deal.
And another thing that you're going to have to understand is for white people that are willing to indulge and have conversations and learn, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. And you have to understand that a lot of black people aren't going to approach you with kid gloves because it's always uncomfortable for us.
Right.
So we don't recognize what's the word, your white fragility a lot because we don't have it. There is no fragility about us.
You're not privileged enough to have that fragility.
Right.
I understand that. Not all white folks do, though.
I mean, listen, you're right. You're 100% right. But what you said made me think of something, and I can't remember what it was. It was very important, too. It was almost like an Edison, Latimer light bulb. You like how I slid that in there?
That was nice.
Damn, I can't remember what it was, though. What were we talking about?
We were talking about white fragility. We were talking about the African American resource groups that I have in my company, but you don't have
it was
yours.
After that. Definitely don't have it in mine.
Talking about how we can be an ally. How white folks can be an ally, rather.
It was uncomfortable conversation. That's what I stopped conversations.
That was the last thing. It was really talking about.
So before the uncomfortable conversation, what were you saying? You said you don't know how.
Don't know how I can support, but help me help you kind of deal around being an ally in a corporate setting. And I think what I was looking for around that was more the fact that I've got. Kind of tying into our earlier conversation, I've built the relationships, I've built the conversations, I've built the trust among not only my peers at my level, but the trust with like the directors and people above me.
Right.
And so if there's something that we want to make mandatory or that we want to talk about, I'm all for it in terms of, the implicit bias training and saying, no, as one of my associates, this is required for you.
Right. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, definitely, I do see something wrong with punishing someone that did not want to.
No, but I can frame it in a way where I can't necessarily force them to do it.
Right.
But I can strongly recommend.
Right. Yeah,
part of their
that would be my
growth and development.
That would be my only thing about it, is because it's just crazy, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how, like, when we're children, we're just sponges. We're just soaking up all this information. Anything that someone's willing to give us, we're willing to soak it up, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent.
And then we hit a point at about 25
where you turn into a rock, where it's like, I won't absorb anything else. I'll sink to the bottom of the sea before.
Well, it's the whole. There's two kinds of. And we've talked about this in corporate America. We've talked about this. My wife and I have talked about this because her school district preaches it. It's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset says, I am never going, I am comfortable and I have no desire to change, and this is the way I view the world, and there's nothing that's going to change that.
Right.
A growth mindset says, I am always learning, I'm always adapting, I'm always changing my points of view.
Right.
Because, like, I'll be the first to admit, I've probably said some shit that was hurtful in retrospect. Like, don't get me wrong, I've used probably with some of our friends in the past, I've used you sound white, or you act white, like, and have educated myself to the point where I understand that that's not the right thing to say.
Right.
And so, like, I could think of two or three people in general, like, I'd be like, I could think back and I've said that to them, and I'm like, I want y'all to know, I apologize for it.
That's what's up, though.
I was young, and at the time, some of y'all even said that about yourselves, so I think I just tagged in. But it's not, that's not the right thing.
Right.
And so that's part of that growth, part of that development. But there are people in the world that who will have said that and would never have said that it was anything but a compliment. You know what I mean?
No, wait, what? Now, what was that? You said anything?
There are people in this world that would have said that exact same thing and never would have changed their mind, that they just viewed it as a compliment.
I know exactly what you're saying. Exactly what you're saying.
Like, I feel like I have enough of a growth mindset to realize this is not the right thing to say.
Right.
Like, you a good dude. I like you. That's where you leave it.
But that's that.
Not like you sound white.
That's that.
Because I get that you sound black and I'm cool, right?
That's
but
that.
If I say you sound white, that actually implies that you're not cool.
Well, no, listen. It's not that. It's not that. It even implies that you're not cool. It implies that only white is educated.
True. Agreed.
It implies that
which
black
is why
is not
I
educated.
know that's not the right thing to say.
Right.
Anymore.
Black is ghetto. You don't sound ghetto like the rest. See, that's what I love is walking in, looking how I look, and talking to white people, and even if I want to butt into your conversation, I love that specific point where they're like, "Well, you're just so articulate and everything like that. What would make you?" And it just makes me feel like, well, what would make you think otherwise? What would make you think otherwise?
The tattoos, the color of your skin,
right.
The dreads back in the day.
Listen, scars all over the place. It makes sense, but listen. This is why I say, like, and everybody is. I won't go there. But you've lost already when you do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sun Tzu always said you have to know your enemy more than you know yourself. So as
you've acknowledged that you underestimated me.
Right. So as a white supremacist, if I am your enemy and you don't know me, you've already lost.
Right. You've underestimated already.
You already lost. And that's the biggest thing that trips me out is the ignorance behind that it's like, yeah, white is supreme, death to all those other than, but your arrogance caused you not to ever learn about those other people that you stand against.
Right.
Which in turn leads
me
to
your own height.
Right, which in turn leads me to believe that you're preparing for something you're not ready for.
Right.
That's just some wild shit. Like,
I'm with you.
That's some wild shit to me. But
man,
that's what you talk white, or you know what I mean, or you talk black.
Right.
And when you said, I understand it though, because you said what was the phrase? I called it being a rock. You said where you want to take in information or you don't.
Oh, a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset.
Right. So it's easy to have a fixed mindset though.
I
want to play devil's advocate because when you come from a certain area, white or black, you think this is all you need to know to thrive in this area. And I've been in that situation myself where it's like, why do I need to know this? This is all I need to know at the moment because this is all I see.
Right.
I just need.
I know what I know.
I need
I've
the best
seen it.
at maneuvering this. Fuck what goes on outside of this.
Yep.
And that's I mean, beyond me, I can see it happening on a poor white's end as well because if you never leave the area that you're in, you don't ever have to adjust your realm of thinking.
Agreed.
And don't get me wrong, only the privileged get to leave the area that they're in. So I can understand a poor white person's view.
Yeah.
Or feeling or ignorance in feeling the way.
Did you watch all of the trigger warning with Killer Mike? Where they put together the rap group at the end?
No, I don't know.
A white supremacist that was part of the rap group.
Oh yeah, they did the auditions and shit.
And that was basically his thing, was that the poor white man is the closest there is to the black man in America. They're basically inequity
No, I didn't
cousins.
see that. I didn't see that. But I mean, I wouldn't say that that's far from the truth. But I wouldn't say the closest to the. Definitely not the closest. Definitely not the closest.
Well, that's what makes it funny. Is
right.
He actually believed that.
Right. But I mean.
Nah, so here's the thing with white privilege. Listen. White privilege means that if you're poor and white, it's your own fucking fault. If you're poor and black, the system has held you down.
I mean, but there's always exceptions to the rule.
There is. Nothing is 100% absolute.
And in those situations, when it comes to poverty, I would say that there's a bigger margin for exception.
I agree with you.
Where
and I say what I say.
I get what you're saying, but we also don't know who's watching.
But
you know what I mean?
I also kind of believe it.
Right.
So, hate me if you want. I ain't mad at you.
I mean, I don't believe it 100, but I believe pieces of it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've been on both ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean? I've been on the poverty line, and then I've been on the black line. So I feel like I can see it from both views. And
I just had an inadvertent thought.
What? Spit it.
So when I was living in Pittsburgh, working at that agency in Pittsburgh, there was a bar across the street called the Bottom Line. Little pool hall. You could still smoke in it. And me and a couple of the writers, we used to call it the poverty line, because they had 50-cent drafts, and when you're near the poverty line, that 50-cent draft hits like a motherfucker.
Listen, when I tell you, they were angels. They were angels in that area. You hear what I'm saying? That's some angelic shit. A 50-cent draft. I remember, what was the name of that spot? The Outer Inn.
I don't remember that.
Off of High Street. And
I also didn't do most of my drinking here in Columbus. Most of my drinking phase was
your college days were...
Well, that, and it was my 2 years after college. Were probably my last 2 years of college, my first 2 years as a quote-unquote professional, were probably my heaviest drinking.
My drinking days started pretty early. So,
I mean, between you and my buddy Ant, I remember getting off work at TMT, and by the way, worked for 2 Men in the Truck as a mover for 4 years. Getting off work and coming and swinging by and just having a six-pack.
Listen.
Them were the good old days. My best was with Ant, though, because when I worked with Ant, I was 18.
Well, he worked with you.
Right. Yeah, he and I were on the truck together. We were partners.
And he was buying all that shit.
For 2 summers. And I would give him my tip money and be like, you got me?
Yeah,
he'd be like,
buying all that shit.
I just go have a couple beers with him before I go home.
I was the guy that had a fake ID at 15.
I actually had a guy we played...
And enough facial hair to pull it off.
I actually had a guy that we played 8th grade ball with, or 7th grade ball with. I had his ID. Because he and I kind of looked alike.
For real?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Rhymes with Schmonovin.
Is he older than you?
He's a year older.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Almost, I think, a year and a half.
I didn't know that.
So it worked out well.
Okay.
Because I got it from him my sophomore year of college.
Listen, I've driven with my... I said, fuck it, if we doing this, let's get into character. I'm Johnny Depp with this shit, bitch.
We also knew a couple of twins back in
elementary
middle school. Yeah, middle school.
Elementary school.
Well, it was middle school for me.
Wait.
Because I joined you guys in 6th and 7th.
Well, no, I was thinking the first.
No, I'm talking St. Cat's.
Okay. Well, who was that? Oh, okay. Okay.
And one definitely got busted with the other's ID.
But they're the same age.
But they got they got a ticket with the other one's ID. He grabbed the wrong wallet. And he got his brother points on his license.
Okay. I was about to say, I know some stories like that, but it wasn't accidental. And they weren't the same age.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm Johnny Depp, though. I get into character, B.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
So I just got a text message. Oh, we'll have to hit on this when we get to the schools thing. Because I just got a text about our transitioning from phase 1 to phase 2. No, phase 2 to phase 3 for football. Which is all about kind of the return to play and COVID and all that shit.
If we're going back into bullshit, how can they implement phases before we know
That's exactly what's happening. Is we were supposed to be moving into our next phase next week, and they're pulling back and saying
because you don't know what
we
phase.
have to stay in our current phase.
This is what I'm talking about with people that it's to the point point where it's not even asking questions. It's telling you that you sound dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not asking. Listen, I don't. We're done. It's the weekend. It's the freaking weekend.
It is the freaking weekend, baby. Have some fun.
There's no. There's no.
Kells. Am I allowed to sing Kells anymore?
You're allowed to do whatever you like, sir.
By the way,
as long as you don't sing it to any underage ladies.
Right. Exactly. I feel. I'm sorry.
I'll say it. I'm gonna listen to R. Kelly. I don't care.
R. Kelly's music. I know
that has right. It has nothing to do with whatever else was popping off.
Carl, I'm looking at you. We were on the trucks together. How many times did we listen to that Double Up album?
Listen, all I'm saying is, there's still states in the country where, with parental consent, you can marry children. So
it's true.
I don't know what he did and what he did.
And what state he was in.
Listen, didn't he end up paying those parents off?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he ended up paying the parents off. So I'm saying,
I mean, is Kells in jail?
Yeah, he's in jail right now.
In jail.
He's in jail right now.
Probably gonna come out and make another hit.
You know he is. He's probably writing them as we speak. And let me be 100 with you. I can't say that if he didn't come back out and drop something, I wouldn't want to hear it. I can't say that.
What, Double Up in Chocolate Factory, man. I don't know. What
I can't say no. Listen, that one shit that he did it. What was it? The Black Panties. He did a song. He did a CD.
Was it the Black Panties?
He did a CD in like 2013. I think it was called Black Panties, and it came with a pair of black panties.
I don't remember that.
I didn't buy the CD.
I was still I think the last
did.
one I bought was Double Up, which was like
I think it was like 2013.
2008.
The only reason why I say 2013 is because I was working up at the airport.
Okay.
And that was That was about around 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that CD has some joints on it. That was just a straight adult fucking CD. Like, there wasn't no Champion, there wasn't no I Can Fly. It was just fucking. The CD was called Black Panties, and it came with a pair of black panties, so you already knew.
While he was in the middle of all of that shit.
Well, that was before the new shit popped off.
I hear
that was when he thought he was probably thinking I'm
cool. I'm
like
on the
he was
cool.
probably thinking on Escobar. Like, they ain't here. And then look, they got more shit to talk about. Let me start sliding these keys, getting these underage women back in my room. And then they was like, oh nope, we still looking. And he was like, God damn it, I should have dropped that CD with them panties. The panties is what locked me up.
Favorite R. Kelly song?
It depends.
All right. That's favorite soulful one, and then favorite fucking one.
Okay. Listen, if we doing the fucking one, I might have to go from the Black Panty soundtrack. That Cookie Monster is my shit.
I'm gonna have to download that because I do not know that CD.
That Cookie Monster is my shit. If you just listen to that one song, that'll probably get you wanting to get to see. Well, if you know, because you're not gonna listen to it just in your headset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. It's got to be an ambiance.
Right. Exactly. But soulful. What was the one about the dude that got killed in Chicago? His boy.
Wish.
Is that it? I think that one. Does that count as soulful though?
I think it does. Gospel. I mean, it's kind of gospel-y.
Okay.
I would agree. I would say I wish. I was a big fan of.
Or was it the remix? One of the two though.
Yeah, both of them were good.
But then what about Ignition and all that?
Absolutely.
Them was good times. I like Step in the Name of Love.
Step in the Name of Love was good. I know it was. Did he feature on it, or was that just Ron Isley?
He was like the Justin Bieber of music.
Him and Ron Isley. I loved everything him and Ron Isley did together. Contagious is the one that's in my head right now.
They started that, and didn't they do
and then
like
they did the Showdown, and then they did.
They did a couple.
They did several.
Yeah, they did a couple.
I actually think that was the genesis for my favorite,
what?
which was
Trapped in the Closet.
Trapped in the Closet.
Yeah, man, I know you did. You got me hip to that.
Trapped in the Closet.
You got me hip to that. I remember
chapters 1 through 13. When after they got. Actually, no, because the end of chapters 1 through 13. So, the back half of 1 through 13 was not great. But then he came back and he did 13 through 22.
Listen, that motherfucker.
Which, by the way,
he
I
was
don't know
like
if you
Justin
can find
Bieber.
that anywhere. Where is
like,
13 through 22?
He was like Justin Epstein.
Right.
That motherfucker couldn't miss, and he was diddling young ladies. He's like Justin Epstein.
I tell you what, and then, but I want to know who got the package. That's how the second one ended.
Listen, anybody that was close to that closet, anybody that came close to that closet had the package.
I can't believe it's a man.
Man. Fuck that. Everybody had the package. That motherfucker UPS. Everybody had packages on their truck.
Oh,
Fuck
man.
that.
So Trapped in the Closet was up there.
I forgot all about that shit. That nigga ignorant, man.
Yeah, he was. He is. I'm trying to think. There's other good songs. Between the Sheets is good. Again, his collabos with Ron Isley, man.
Back in the day, like
him and the Isley brothers were my shit in my early 20s, late teens. I wasn't a big Isley fan.
I mean, back in the day, drifting on a melody.
I hear you.
Ain't no place I'd rather be than with you. That motherfucking air, boy. That was a smooth motherfucker. You knew why he had that cane.
No doubt.
You knew why he had that cane. He said, bitch, shut up.
Who you think you're talking to? But I thought.
Listen, man, I'm just telling you. Ron Isley, he was a pimp. But I wasn't
straight
a
up
fan.
pimp.
I wasn't a fan of old Ron Isley.
Well, see, I like old Ron Isley better than anything.
Right. Because you probably wasn't hip to young Ron Isley.
I was not.
Your mom wasn't bumping that, making y'all clean the house on Sundays and shit.
By the way, the Rita's chiming in. She said she wanted to know who got the package as well.
Right. I am interested as well.
I think that's what we need to do. Can we start a Kickstarter to get chapters 23 through 30
from the prison? From the prison. I bet that production value, I bet it would go up. I bet they would have a I bet they would have a better production in the pen. They could spin it off onto a prison break joint. Man.
That could be how it goes.
GoFundMe. Start a GoFundMe for R. Kelly.
Gets the package. The police officer goes back to the house, arrests R. Kelly, and Twan, takes him to jail.
Who's Twan, the cousin?
My brother just got out of prison. Mm-hmm. Don't you remember? My brother just got out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, a rubber.
That is crazy. I forgot all about that shit. R. Kelly's a fool.
He is, but that shit was genius.
Free R. Kelly, man. No, I'm just playing.
He does not deserve to be free.
Ignorant. That was a joke.
There is great pictures
from... At least Tony Yayo even know and give him a studio in his cell.
Did, I think, one New Year's Eve at Aunt's house. God bless the dead. He and I did, I think, did all 13 chapters karaoke.
Oh, for real? I believe it.
Like me, his brother, his wife, and like maybe 3 other people. He and I were fucked up, but we loved that shit.
Man.
And the craziest thing was the first 5 chapters they released on the radio, and they would release it like once every couple weeks.
They did. Man.
I don't think they even made it through all 13.
Listen, that's one thing that you... Listen, I don't know.
That shit was genius.
He was. You took the words out of my mouth. R. Kelly was a musical genius.
Absolutely.
Period, point blank.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I love... Part of the reason why I think I have such an eclectic taste in music, because I love country music too.
Right.
I think my thing is I love music that actually tells a story.
Speaking of country music.
I love music that tells a story.
Have you heard Diplo's,
No.
What's the name of that song? I know I can't play nothing on here, but...
Well, I mean, we're not monetized yet. If you want to play something, play it. It's not like it's going to get us banned. Actually, we could get a strike. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I just wanna. Heartless. Just look up Diplo Heartless featuring Morgan. See, now I can't. Let me see if I flip it this way. But no.
Featuring Morgan something or other.
But if you put in Heartless, Diplo Heartless, it'll pop up.
Okay. But that's my thing. Is I love music that tells a story.
And the funny thing about that song, and it made me feel good. They're doing him the same way they did Lil Nas X.
Okay.
And it didn't make me feel good because I'm not a hater. I don't like to see people not be able to.
Yeah.
But they're not playing him on country stations because they say the beat is a trap beat. A trap beat on a country song made by two white men.
Meanwhile, have you ever heard the Florida Georgia Line remixes with Nelly?
Listen, I love Florida Georgia Line.
Baby, you a song. You make
that wasn't no. That still qualifies though, because instead of putting white folks on a nigga beat, you put a nigga on white folk. Exactly. So they're fine with that because
right. You're
bringing him to the party.
Right.
But when you jump on their beats, now you're going to you're trying to bring us to their party. That's a problem.
Have you ever heard?
But if you hear the beat, you're gonna be like, yeah, it does sound a little urban, but it doesn't sound like. What do you mean a trap? Like that ignorant shit. And it's a great song. It sounds great. Like I almost downloaded it to my phone. I just didn't want to.
Have you heard? See, and this gets back to I love country rap collabos. Brantley Gilbert, Bottoms Up, with T.I.
No.
Whoo, buddy. It's like
text me the title.
I will. I'll play it for you after. And then Jason Aldean, Dirt Road Anthem. Ludacris has a verse on
Dirt Road.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Dirt Road is. I like the Zach Brown band.
Zach Brown's good too. I like like two or three.
They're real white.
Oh,
no, I haven't listened to everything. Now I say that saying I've heard a few songs from them that I like. Now
Toes,
maybe I don't
fried.
like. I like Homegrown. I like what'd you say the other one was?
I like my chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night.
No, I don't think that's it. But that sounds like something I would like.
That one's good too.
That definitely.
Tanner
sounds
and
like
I
me.
did that karaoke at a bar one night.
I got Homegrown on my phone. Okay. I love that song.
I mean, I hear you. Like I'm not like not a deep country person. I love a lot of like pop country.
I hate country, so when I find a song that I like, I really like it.
I hear you. Because if it's enough for you to listen to it, you like it.
If you caught me for 20 seconds, then I'm probably going to like the song.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Otherwise, I'm probably turn it off. Yeah. But no, I mean, all country is slow white folks blues. And how can't you like blues? You know what I mean?
Country music for me is one of those, if I'm depressed and I want to revel in it for a minute, because sometimes when you get depressed you just want to get out, and other times you're like, let me feel this way for a minute. Like if you've ever been in a serious relationship and there's a breakup, sometimes you just need to revel in it for a second. Like I'm upset about this, it's making me sad. Country is one of those things that will like hold you there.
You just
there are a couple of songs, like there's a song called there's two that come to mind. There's one about a kid who kills himself, and kind of going back to, I mean, we talked about that a couple weeks ago in terms of just having those kind of thoughts. There's a song called How Do You Get That Lonely by, I think it's Wayne Larson, and then there's one called Whiskey Lullaby. She put that bottle to her head and
Charles
pulled
Stapleton.
the trigger.
I love him.
Maybe. Okay.
No, I'm just saying because you
said that.
I didn't mean to take away from what you were saying.
No, you're good. But I mean, like, it's... So, I think there are points where, like, I like country when I'm in a certain mood. Like, either I really like the pop and, like, having fun country, or I want the shit that is just going to bring you down and make you depressed, or because you're already depressed, you can wallow in it.
You know what's crazy is...
And that's the same way I feel about...
I skip depressed music.
Yeah.
I skip depressed music and go all the way back full circle to angry, and then I get into like the real gangster rap, like shoot shit up, like roll down the window.
See, that's a stop on the journey.
Yeah, no. Like,
I will get back to the angry shit.
Right, I skip the, like I can't, like, okay. So here's how it goes. It's funny you brought this up. Here's how it goes. Like, and this will be like my work day too, like listening to music at work. So I'll start off like happy, trying to start my day off bright. Reggae is how I start. Then I get into Sam Cooke and shit, and Change Gonna Come and all that bullshit, right? And then I get into the angry shit, the Kevin Gates and the little, well, this is probably gonna say my age for the young bucks, the little bibbies, cause that's way back, but like the real gangster shit, and then I come back around to like let's give him a chance, and then I say, let me play some Frank Sinatra, like Fly Me to the Moon, and like some, something that say, play some Uncle Frank, some shit that makes you love white people again, and then, you know what I mean? Like, that's the circle of, especially in this specific time, because it's just like you flip through your phone, like you want a break from work and you see your phone and you're like, give me a break from the phone, let me get back to work.
Right,
like, what the fuck?
No doubt. No, I'm with you, because that's my whole thing, is like it's definitely reflective.
I love Frank.
It's definitely reflective of moods, and so country I like if I'm looking for something to like hold me in it and make me feel sad for a minute.
Johnny Cash.
Which, by the way, that was another one that after the show last week, we talked a little bit about some of our old music.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite things you ever did, was the Johnny Cash remix to Ain't No Grave.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so there's shit like that, and I think when we look at that kind of music,
remember I sang that Johnny Cash song at that bar with the live band.
Did you?
You don't remember that? When I lived here. What bar were we at? I can't remember what bar we were at.
Probably either the Hey Hey or
it was that bar where either I didn't have my ID or my ID was expired and they wouldn't let me in, and you and somebody else you knew that we met there got me into the bar.
I don't know. Probably Hey Hey. It was probably the Hey Hey Grill. It was probably Tainer over by his place down in German Village.
No, it was like High Street-ish. It was down. We got on the freeway to get there. We took 71 north. We were living here.
I don't remember. Because I try to avoid the freeway if I know.
Do you remember that girl? We were playing pool, and I was playing pool with a group.
Dick's Den. And it was actually...
You remember what I'm talking about?
No, it's the one that worked with you.
The one that worked with me?
Mm-hmm.
Who got me into the bar?
Yeah. Because she was the one that knew everybody there. And we played pool. Yes, I do remember now.
And that one girl was bothering me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, probably. Because that was really the only person I ever drank with when I came back to Columbus. Outside of my coaching friends.
Right.
Because you and I, when we drink, we go to each other's houses. We don't really go out.
Right, and if we do go out, it's usually after we drank too much at the house and was like, let's
go do something.
Right.
Dumb.
Right.
Dumb.
That's the truth, though.
I mean, yeah.
Let's have a blast.
Right. If you're gonna
That's
go,
what life is about, G.
Gotta have fun.
Listen, don't be dangerous, but have a blast.
That was a good segue there with all the music. It's been a while.
It has.
We used to be big on music. It was good times. I used to like music, and I tell you what.
I only used to listen to ours. There's about a good 5-year period where I didn't listen to any music but our music unless it came on the radio. And
we uncovered probably 200 tracks last weekend.
Listen,
so at some point I'll burn that, or I don't know if it's burned. Do you want a thumb drive? Like, where do you want it?
I need a CD or.
Well, that's going to be a problem because I don't have a CD drive on any of these computers.
Well, I need you to upload them free to Apple then.
I'll put them on Google Drive or something. I don't know.
I don't know how's that work.
The problem is that I'm probably going to have to, what I need to do is go through and retitle them all.
Listen.
Make sure they got the right titles. Make
sure. I don't know.
I would
just like to have them on my phone so I can plug my phone up. But Apple, you can't.
Do you have an Apple? I can do it.
Can you?
Yeah, I can do it.
Then that's what I would like.
It'll take me a minute, but I can do it.
That's fine.
Because I had to figure it out.
I might have to get a new phone.
I just
for
got
you to
them all on mine.
I might have to get you a new phone.
That's
get a
fine.
New phone before you do. Because it's only a 32, and it's keep telling me delete shit to get new. So I think I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get. This is only a 7. So
that's
listen,
what I have.
Listen, cheap motherfuckers. I'm only gonna get an 8. But it's gonna be a 64 this time, and then I'll want those.
That's
songs.
kind of on the trip I'm at. I'm like, do I? So I know what.
I don't
want to
upgrade.
What are they on? The 11 now?
Well, they're getting the X's and all that
right.
shit. The letters, they're in letters now, so I don't know.
I don't pay attention anymore. No, I'm due for an upgrade, and I need to upgrade mine because mine's finally starting to have the battery wear.
That's how mine is. It goes down hella quick.
They hit that point when you get to be about 3 generations back. The operating system kills your battery. No, I know they did, and it's all planned obsolescence shit.
And I know they didn't stop. That didn't stop.
No,
anything.
it didn't stop them because that lawsuit. At least the first time that lawsuit happened, I think it was around the iPhone 4.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The 4 and the 4S, and then they keep doing the shit. So whatever.
We should take a quick break this evening because my bladder's full as.
All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's just take a break. We're already we're at an hour and 5, so I don't know that we got maybe 1 or 2 live folks in the chat. So we're gonna take a quick 2-3 minute break, and then we'll be right back. Hit us up, contribute in the chat.
All right,
chime in.
All that.
All right. right, we are back.
I like how you brought that back right there.
That was a quick one.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about the beat. How you brought
The
it
beat?
back right there on
Shit.
Right?
I try.
I'm glad.
I'm not always that good.
You did great.
I'm just glad that I remember to unmute us this time.
I heard that. That was an excellent bring back.
You know? I can't wait till we start to get some people back in the studio, because it's fun to have, like, we had your dad here a couple weeks ago. That was fun. I like having people live in the studio. Like, the Zoom thing's cool because we get...
Tanya is driving me nuts, boy. She's driving me nuts.
Tell her, I'm game next weekend. Bring it on over.
Okay, I might have to call it then.
I mean, at this point, I like doing the Zoom thing because it's let us introduce people to new people.
Right.
It's let us have new folks on the show that we probably wouldn't have on the show otherwise.
I like having people in the...
But I love having people in the room with us.
Right. It feels better. It feels like a late night show.
Right. It's a conversation. It's a late night show.
It feels
honestly, and I tell you what, and our buddy, I'm just going to call him Mike. Our buddy Mike sent us a message earlier this week telling us about how it reminded him of just being here and kicking it.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe we always wanted. That's what we're going for. I was too. So Mike, thank you for the compliments. We appreciate it.
Definitely welcome. Definitely, of course, thank you. But you're definitely welcome whenever, and we need you whenever you're free. Also,
Mike and Key.
Right. Also, right. That's what I was about to say. Talk to them as well. I said I would like to have both of them at the same time if possible.
I would too, because that would be a true reunion.
Those are two. Listen now. Come on. Now, y'all are like my starting five now. I would like to have the starting five on the squad.
Absolutely.
We just we won't go there, but. we would just be missing one person, and he'll be back soon. I just spoke with him today.
Oh, is this a certain color?
Yes.
I mean, I'd love to have him on too.
I love my brethren. Listen, I told him I was gonna have him on. We could do it Tony Yayo style,
and have him call in, because there's a number for the Zoom. Like, he could call. He gets in
too much trouble.
Okay.
They cut his phones off where he's at 9. At his old spot, they didn't cut him off till 11, so he could have.
Yeah.
Called in multiple times. Probably because they're only 15-minute intervals, but he could have called in 3-4 times.
Right.
But this spot, they cut him off at 9 in a higher security.
Nah, I hear you. What happens when you back multiples, right?
That wasn't even the case. That's what happened when you're in trouble all the time and you can't keep your hands off of people.
Is that what it was?
But I don't know if... I can't... Listen, I'm not going to speak on that. I don't know if he was pushed. He probably was pushed.
I hear you. Well, I mean, my whole thing is the individual we're talking about, I've never had a bad interaction with. I've always loved him, so.
And you won't.
And I don't.
Well, I can't say that.
I won't say
you won't.
I don't know everything that's going on with him, but I've never had a bad interaction. So.
Listen, that's my.
I know he is.
To the very, very end. So, but he'll be around, and I can't wait to have him on. But until then, Michael, if you are a fan like you say you are, and you're hearing this podcast, I'm gonna need you to contact Keo and coordinate what time you would be able to get that set up.
Yeah, so Mike, Keo, you two get together, call us, let us know what works for you. You know what time we shoot. 9 times out of 10, it's Friday nights, at least until we get to August. When we get into August, we'll have to have a conversation, because if football's happening, we might be moving this to a Saturday night or a Thursday night. We'll have to figure that out.
Ooh, it'd have to be Saturday if we listen. It won't be fools to agree with beer if we doing it on Thursday.
I hear you. Well, I mean, the alternative is you learn how to do this shit and you host it for a couple of weeks on your own.
I could do that, but you would have to teach me how to do it.
Absolutely. And we'll do that. Either way, we should do that. Like, either way, I should teach you how to do it, because at some point, I'm going to have a conflict.
Right.
And I would hate for us to miss something because of me. And I mean, we're running consecutive weeks. This is episode, 24?
Is it?
Yeah, so we're moving up. We're almost at a quarter of a century.
I told you I ain't gonna miss, motherfucker.
I'm saying I'm the one I just said I'm gonna be the one that has to miss at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 times that we've had to do it on an off night, it was me. I'll acknowledge it.
I don't care if I gotta bring my road dog with me. My daughter will be here sitting off camera
behind the black screen here.
Listen.
Because, by the way, the room we're in right now is twice as big as what you guys see on the podcast.
Oh, he had to stun. He had to stun on y'all. It is, I was just thinking today before we started, it is very odd to know that this was once the studio and is now like a little...
It's still a studio. It's just a podcast studio.
Yeah, I guess, but you know what I mean.
Because the computer used to be right there for recording, where the TV is now. And the booth was right there.
In the closet.
It wouldn't take much to put it back to be in the studio, trust me. Because
all
we really need to do is put the boom mic in the closet.
Right.
We can still do this.
Well, I want to move my area there so I don't have to look at your ugly ass and I can shut that curtain and we can do the podcast local.
Local remote.
Right.
I think you should pick up your camera and just swing it around and show them what you're talking about.
I'm only kidding. I would too. This is where, look, this is my new office right here. That's right there. That little action. That's where I'm about, and I'm gonna close the curtain on these motherfuckers.
I don't know that they can see the curtain. Is the curtain there?
Can they see it?
I guess it is.
Yes, they can see all that.
That's the closet.
Yeah, stop it. So I'll be there next time you see me. If you wonder why I'm not looking at anybody,
now the question is, can you get the camera pointed back at you? That's the
man, gangster. I'm production. This is production value. So.
Oh shit, man.
Uh-huh.
All right. So did we want to talk through any of the other Twitter or no? We hit on Cruz, right?
No, I thought I was going to explain why he's a bitch.
Oh, we'll explain why he's a bitch, and then we'll hop into the Smiths.
I can do that in about 10, 15 seconds. He's a bitch because he got his dick grabbed twice by a man. On to you, Mike. Period. That's it. That explains it. It sums it up. We don't care what you have to say. You got your dick grabbed twice by a man with no assaults.
But he was in White Chicks.
With no assaults. Listen, I don't give a fuck if this is Cliff's opportunity out and he's getting $2 million off this payday. If you grab my dick, I'm going to jail.
What if you like? I'm done. All right. So moving on.
If you grab my dick, I'm going to jail.
So moving on. What do you got to say about Jada and August? I don't even know who this dude is. So what's his name? August something or other?
August Alsina?
Yeah, I don't know him.
You don't know who that is?
I do not know who that is. So it educate me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't fucking both of them.
He like that, huh?
100.
I mean, didn't Pac always say he was fucking Jada?
Oh yeah, let's be honest. We knew Jada was.
And I mean, as long as it doesn't bother Will, like who the fuck cares?
We knew Jada was a go. No, I think he was fucking Will too.
You think he was fucking Will too?
I do. I think he was fucking Will too.
So you think it's good that it came out that it was just him fucking Jada?
Correct. I think it was much deeper. I think he was fucking Will too. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me put it that way.
So who is this dude?
He's a singer. He's a R&B singer. He was with Keke Palmer.
See, you're saying all sorts of shit that I'm not hip to anymore, I guess.
She was in Aquila and the Bee.
Okay.
And now she's
like a Disney star, kind of Aquila and the Bee. Like, was she the kid?
Yeah, the movie. I don't think it was a Disney movie, was it?
I thought it was.
It might have been a Disney movie.
It seems like.
But yeah, as a child, yeah.
I might be mixing that up with like Queen of Cotway or something.
Now you lost me. I don't know anything about
Queen
that.
Queen of Cotway is definitely a Disney movie, but.
Okay. But she flourished. She grew into an attractive young lady.
Okay.
And he was well, I guess I don't know if they said they were together. I don't think they were together. They were trying to play like they weren't, but motherfuckers was over each other's houses spending nights. We know what that means.
Right.
Why do celebrities act like the same rules don't apply, to them? Like, we can spend a night and we're not sexually like, bitch, shut the fuck up. We know what the fuck that means. We're people. We got dicks too. We got dicks and twats just like you.
I will tell you that from the age of probably 15 on, maybe younger, but 15, I don't know that I ever spent the night at a girl's house and something didn't happen. Now, I might have only been kissing.
Well, I'm a gentleman, though.
I don't know that I ever spent,
well, no, it's usually
spent
my
the night
house.
at a girl's house.
No, I've never spent the night at a female's house, but I've had females spend the night at my house and nothing happened.
I hear you on that.
Because if you're too drunk...
Well, we have a certain friend in New York who has crashed at our place. But I even think that most of the time she crashed there, she was either making out with Mike or somebody. Maybe not making out, maybe just cuddling. I don't know.
Listen, I don't either. But I didn't even connect the two dots until you said what you said. That's what was so funny about that to me. But yeah, no, what was the last thing we said? I know we were talking about
we were talking about staying the night at someone's house, right, and why do celebrities think that the rules don't apply to them?
Listen.
So bottom line, you think this whole August Jada thing is real, and you think he's fucking Will too?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure, Will was getting fucked too, and I'm gonna tell you why. Did you see the video where Will Smith was getting the back rub, and the dude walked up and started rubbing his back, and he said, "Oh, those are some man hands."
Oh, no, I did not
listen,
see that.
It's a video. I wish I could share it. It might be on World Star.
Some World Star shit.
Listen, Jada's sitting behind him. He's getting a back rub
I actually
on TV.
know. I didn't see the video. I think I saw the thumbnail, and you saying this just put that together in my head.
Listen, he's getting a back rub. Jada's behind him, and I guess dude switched out with a girl, and he said, "Wait, them is man hands." He said, "Oh, them feel a lot better." He said, "Oh, only a man knows how to satisfy another man," and Jada does this in the background, like this, though, Mike.
Jada's like
in
that?
the background like that, which let me know when I saw that. I said, "Oh, he was fucking both of them," and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because you just we all knew. Well, I'm not gonna say knew, but they've been talking about having an open relationship for decades.
Right.
It's been at least 15
years.
There
was never that much drama around Pop, basically saying that.
But that was before Will too. That was before Will too, though.
Was it before Will or was it
that was before Will?
Was it between Will?
Now Will may have came into the picture.
Came back.
Pac died in what, 97,
which was before Fresh Prince was off the air.
But when did he get with he got with Jada after Woo, right? The movie Woo with Tommy Davidson. I think regardless it was after. But they've been saying since the beginning that they've had an open relationship.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if that's
I'm sure that comes from Jada. No, I'm 100% fine with that if that's how you feel. I don't care if you want to.
I actually don't understand why this is a story per se, but
well, see, here's
other
the
than
story.
the fact that they're celebrities.
Well, of course that, but here's my thing is.
My favorite line that I've seen about this is, some of y'all been in an open relationship and didn't realize it.
Listen, the one I liked was it said it ain't even August and what she said it ain't even what the fuck did it say?
I don't know.
Oh, we ain't even finished July and Jada already been through August or something like that. And then it was one where it said, did you lie about August? And it was July. Man, that shit, they've been going in on her. But what I'm saying is, open relationship or not, you don't let your significant other release their their trophy case without showing yours as well.
That's true.
Will Smith has never had a trophy case. Other than Jada Smith and Nia Long, you've never had a trophy case. So in this situation, if you're willing to let August come out about Jada, then you can only feel comfortable that knowing we both had the same thing. We both got good.
Yeah.
It's almost like your female cheating on you and you not cheating back. It's like, well, this might eventually ruin our relationship because I'm always going to be thinking about you cheating. Right. But if we both cheated together, then it's like, well, we can get over it because we both did it.
Right.
That's the way I see this current situation.
That's what an open relationship is. The funny thing would be that means Will's been more discreet than Jada. Unless what you're saying is true. And even if what you're saying is true.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Even if August and Will have gotten together.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not what we're talking about here, though.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
No. But that's not what the media is talking about.
Oh, right.
So even if that's the case, then, like, Will still comes off as being, like...
Listen, I'm going to still love Will regardless of if this is true or not. I fuck with Will Smith. And we're now in that, we're in that generation where sexual, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Not that it mattered before.
No, but we're definitely in a more...
It was a different
we talked about this with your pops, right?
Right.
Like, we had that conversation. Which, by the way, so I had one of my cousins, cousins in the same sense you use the word cousins, reached out to me and she said, in episode 21, when describing a trans woman, your guest said a man who identifies as a woman, and that's super not correct. A trans woman is a woman, period. I know y'all ain't transphobic, but just for future reference, what you would say is someone who is assigned male at birth, but is a woman because the other way makes it seem like they're a man pretending to be a woman, which is very harmful and a transphobic stereotype. So
that makes
I wanted to call out,
sense.
I think for me, it was more about us acknowledging, like, if y'all ever hear us say some shit that is super wrong or super offensive, call us.
Period.
And we will acknowledge it on the next show.
I'm a dickhead.
So,
I'm an asshole. I'm a dickhead. I'm trying to learn. But I know.
On that note, what I will say.
But wait. What was the context of that though? Too?
I don't know. I don't know what the context.
I think
was.
I remember what she's talking about, and I think that was a question that was asked. I think you're right. I asked, does that mean that was a man to woman or woman to man? And I think that person answered the question. I don't think that they just said
that out of nowhere.
That's where
I think that's fair from a contextual standpoint. But I also want to acknowledge that somebody feels that way.
I know I'm an asshole. I know I'm a dickhead. Listen, my mom tells me these things. She reassures me of this daily. And you saw my dad on the podcast. So we talk about this, not this specifically, but being assholes and dickheads all the time.
All the time.
So, if I offended, I apologize. I can't say that I won't do it again, but it won't be purposely.
Right.
Just teach me if you're willing.
This goes back to growth mindset. We understand. We may say the wrong thing sometimes. The difference is we're willing to learn.
More times than not, I'm gonna.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listen, I call people bitches a lot on this podcast.
And I tell you what, I'm the first.
And that's not in the feminine male, the same way that we're talking trans. It's not in the feminine male sense of bitch. It's you're being a bitch right now.
Right.
Right.
Now, I will also say that she offered up, although she says she wouldn't do this on the mic, and I'm going to challenge her.
Please do.
If she wants to actually do this and actually put it on the mic, I would appreciate that more. She says, anyone wants an education on LGBTQ stuff, we can do that. She said, not necessarily on the mic, just in the world. She says she did it at a panel at her college for years, she doesn't mind being a queer educator.
No, I would.
And I would rather have her on so that we can educate our people. Educate our fans.
Listen, I told you my friends been asking to be on as well.
Right. All your friends have been on. Have wanted to be on.
Right. Well, Well, step it up with your friends.
I don't have friends.
Do you have friends? Right. Do you have friends, sir?
I don't have friends.
But yeah, no, my trans friends been wanting to come and talk about it as well, based on that conversation that we had the first time.
Okay. I mean, I'm all up for whoever being on.
That's how I feel about it. But I would like to, not just the people that know us or your cousins.
Yeah.
If you feel a certain kind of way, please express it. Right now, I don't care if you're trolling or you're being honest. You're dealing with people that don't have a problem looking at things from an opposite point of view. So, if you truly want to make a difference and not just bitch or talk shit, then state your claim.
I agree.
It's welcome. The same way I was telling Mike, join the African Club. The same way I said about the AR dude. Go down there and show them you're with us. Listen, all I'm trying to do is let motherfuckers know we're with you. I just don't know a lot of shit.
Right.
So, and I joke a lot too. So I don't want you to take jokes for truth as well.
True. Because
I do a lot of that as well. But in the end, fuck you. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
That to Sam.
Oh, is that what that was? No, listen, we know.
So, I just got called out in the chat. So
that was a joke.
This isn't coming from Sam. So
no, I was just saying. You're
clearing the air
right.
there. Absolutely. Well, the good news is she listens. So
I know, and I love her.
We love all our fans.
I would wait. I would hope she knows I love her.
Right.
I don't know that she knows, but I would hope she knows.
So, and by the way, the East Side fireworks are going off, so they got 2 more days. You have to let me know if that happens on the 4th. I just got called out in the chat for not remembering my question that I was supposed to ask as part of inadvertent thoughts.
My question asked to me?
No, somebody asked me something, and I promised that I would bring it up on the podcast.
Okay.
So I have a question for you.
Okay, prepare me first, though. Is this deep? Let's go.
It's not.
Dive in. Fireworks.
I have a question for you. You know who Chewbacca is, right?
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Does Chewbacca have a human dick or a dog dick? Like a red rocket or a human dick? That's kind of what I said, because he's got the fur. Otherwise, it'd be flopping around through the whole trilogy, right?
Period. Because it would have to stop at the hair.
Right. Exactly.
The only way.
So either he's got a real short human dick, or he's packing with a dog dick.
But though, has there ever been a packing dog?
By the way, do you know who this is
coming
from?
Has a dog ever been packing?
I don't know. I've seen some fucking pit bulls that were packing.
But I feel like even a packing dog, even a packing dog is a below average man.
Depends on the dog. Depends on how big it is.
I don't care if it's a 7-foot Great
What
Dane.
If it's a wolf?
I don't care if it's an 8-foot wolf. I can't see your dick being longer than 8 inches. You know what I mean? As it inverted in your.
Hey, I have a dick. All right, that actually triggers something else.
Come out.
That actually triggers
like
something else.
Like an anvil. You know what I mean?
What animal has the biggest dick on Earth?
Whale.
Yeah, blue whale.
I know.
Them shits is ridiculous, but they look like just a swervy line.
I thought it looked like a.
It actually looks like a giant sperm. I
thought it looked like a mini stingray, like a stingray on a pointer, like on a. What's that called?
So
Luke, who asked that question?
Luke. Thank you for the
question.
Yes,
Luke. I hope that answer was exactly what you were expecting to get.
And Luke would be somebody, we were talking earlier about friends that we want on the show.
I said it all the time.
You motherfucker.
How many times have I said that? How many times have I said that? So I can tell him about all the things he missed at the bachelor party. No, I'm just playing.
Don't do that now.
Yeah, no. Listen,
we're about to get real serious in here.
I get more incriminated. I think I did more wrong than you did, motherfucker.
You're probably right.
You didn't do shit.
I came home with my clothes wet, though, which is what my wife always reminds me
of. They shouldn't have put a shower on stage.
What was I doing on stage was the question. That was better than Matt's, though. Matt's side disappeared and came back thousands of dollars.
Oh
less
man,
rich.
man. Listen,
Have you ever seen the movie Hustlers? That's what
I
happens.
ain't even gonna tell you. Listen, I ain't gonna tell you. How Matt's ended up. I would just let you know I had a lot of makeup on my jeans, and I hope that the people that I went were just as drunk that I was, and don't.
I think we all were. It's fine. That was the problem going to that particular club, which has since been shut down.
Oh, I'm sure. It was about to be that evening.
Right? No shit.
And I'd be that.
100.
I'll just end it there.
All right. So we talked about Jada. We talked about Terry Crews.
Mm-hmm.
Columbus Public Schools, man.
Oh yeah, I do have some school shit.
Have you seen the plan?
The 2-day.
So they're talking about going 2-3, 2 days in person, 3 days online for K through what, middle school?
No, I didn't look through like the.
And then high school was all online for the first half of the year. So what are your thoughts? I mean, you have a daughter that's in that school system. So
I mean, okay. So of course I'm gonna make jokes. I'll hold them off until later in the segment. Am I, or am I gonna just throw these jokes out?
Just go for it. I mean, I really want to know what your thoughts are, because like you've got a daughter that's gonna have to go through this. So, and I'm coaching, so I'm coaching not at Columbus, but I'm coaching in a neighboring school district, which will probably take a similar approach, or we'll see what they do. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I guess the jokes are the truth, if I'm being honest, because the fact of the matter is, I don't feel like we should ever not go back to a normal system, even if that means potential risk of death. I don't think that we should not go back to it. I feel like our generation is already socially awkward. Not necessarily ours. Ours is right at that tipping point.
We're right at the cusp.
Right,
well,
where
you
it's
and
like we're starting to get socially awkward.
I think we talked about this in the middle of February, early March. We are the elder millennials. We are right between millennials and like Gen X. Or Gen Y, or whatever they call it.
Right.
We are the oldest of the millennials.
Right.
So we didn't grow up with technology the way millennials did.
Right.
And we definitely didn't grow up with the technology the way current Generation Z did.
Right.
But we're familiar with it. We are comfortable with it because it came up while we were in like high school. It came up during our formative years.
Am I good in here?
What do you mean? Yeah, you're good.
This looks a little...
I mean, you're a little off, but it's fine. You've been centered, so I'm not.
Okay.
Wasn't anything bad.
I'm not gonna cut you off.
No, you're good. So I think that from that perspective, I hear you on that.
That's my biggest concern. Is like we're already socially awkward. Like I already like when like we get new people in like to the job.
You don't know how to talk. You don't know how to.
Like it's like. You know I do. Like I pride myself on trying to connect on your level. Mm-hmm. So I have no problem pulling myself out of my normal comfort zone to try to enter yours to get you to open up. But it's like, is this person real? Like, is this real what we're doing? Like, what do you expect me to do with this here?
So what I will say is, I think it's an interesting situation. I would say that I support kind of what the CDC said earlier this week, which was basically...
And what does that mean?
The Center for Disease Control.
Okay, I knew that.
So it's a federal agency.
I didn't know that. I knew that, but I didn't know that I knew that.
I got you.
If I'm being honest.
But they basically said that we should make every effort to put kids back in school this year. One, because the virus doesn't affect them as badly as it affects older folks.
The issue is coming home to the older folks.
Agreed. And two... the social, emotional damage of not going to school is worse than the physical possibilities of COVID.
Period.
I would agree with.
You know, it's funny that you said that, is that I said the only plus, because that was a negative, is that the social shit is awful right now, and it's just going to get worse.
Absolutely.
Kids being at home.
Nobody's going to know how to talk to each other.
I don't even know if you put it as a plus. No more mass school shootings. They're now in home. That's not going to stop them. They're still going to happen.
Yeah.
They're just going to be in the home, which is proper.
Which keeps it from being mass.
I mean, let's be honest, because if you're raising a mass shooter, you should have to deal with that.
Right.
Not our children, the children of our country.
Yeah.
Or our area. Your dumbass should have to deal with that. So if they choose to flip out and shoot shit, you should be the one getting shot, not our children.
Yeah. So my take on it, and this is going to contradict that a little bit, is that school districts, wherever possible, and I'm not saying every school district can do this, school districts should put it in the power of the family. Meaning, it's either, first of all, I think blended and doing part-time in school, part-time virtual is awful. Yeah, I don't think that's effective for anybody.
I don't think so. Especially not the
K through.
Especially not the
6.
parent.
Oh no!
I now have to stay home with this child because they can't stay home by themselves.
Right.
So now jobs either have to offer me the ability to work home full time, or this doesn't work.
It's funny you bring that up because when Shar and I were having this conversation about this before our show tonight, I'm like, I'm curious what Cliff's thoughts are on that because I don't know, because right now you're working from home.
Right.
Is your daughter's mother working from home as well? Or is she being asked to go back?
No, she's not working from home, I think.
So at that point, does that become a point of contention between you two? Or does your daughter come to you on days where she's got school from home?
Well, see, I guess that would
that's
all
my question.
Right, that would all depend on the way it was set up at my job. And see, this is the fucked up thing that it's the fucked up truth that we're going to have to enter into is it's going to have to be you name the rules. Not I come back to work. No, if you want me to continue working there, you allow me to work from here.
Absolutely.
Or I have to find a new job that will be willing to. And that's going to be the sad truth is that once the jobs see that they're like, oh shit, people can't come back.
I actually think it'll be an interesting pivotal point in terms of capitalism in this country. Because what I think it'll do is it'll take the power out of the corporation's hands and put it back in the people's hands. Because I can't work for you if you don't let me work on my terms.
Right. Well, here's the thing now, or here's the thing that we go even further is especially with my specific job, I'm using my internet, my electricity,
and they should be compensating you for that.
My cell phone, I make calls from my own cell phone, and I don't get any sort of stipends or anything like that.
No,
so,
that's something that should be addressed. They should be paying for all of that. Period. Whether that's either through the form of a raise or through a...
Oh, no, here's the kicker is they cut our raises as well for the year.
But that's exactly where that should
for
happen.
The previous year, before
before all this shit
COVID even happened, we already worked for the raise, but that's cut too because...
What I will say is my company has actually gone the opposite way, which is why I'm glad I work for who I work for. They've basically said because of COVID, they know we're not going to hit our numbers, so they are changing how our bonuses are assessed.
They better figure something out before they get a whole bunch of letters from a whole bunch of news agencies from anonymous emails that were sent talking about how fucked up shit's being handled.
Yeah. So my whole point with schools is that, first of all, and like I said, I think blended learning is awful. I don't think it benefits anybody. I think it should either be fully back to school or fully online, and it should be a parent's choice. Meaning, the parent chooses if their kid is going to be full-time enrolled in school or if their kid is going to be full-time online at home.
Right.
And the way you solve this with teachers is, you're going to have teachers that feel the same way, that aren't comfortable coming back and that are comfortable coming back. You have teachers come back that are comfortable coming back to teach in school, and the teachers that aren't comfortable coming back are required to teach online. And so you basically end up with two different school systems within a single district. You have an in-school and you have an online version.
Right.
And the problem is that right now we are still in the process of cutting education funding.
Right.
And what really you should be doing is
meanwhile, let's give
defunding
police
the police.
Let's give police tanks.
Defund the police to fund the ability to have two different versions of school. An online version and an in-school version.
Fuck that. Let's be 100. You could defund the police and have
you could have
five
different versions of school.
Fuck no, schools, and you could have programs to cover the parents that would have to stay home to tend to their kids that are in the schools.
No doubt.
And you would still have hella more money to give back to the police if you felt that to be necessary.
Absolutely. I mean, my whole thing, like, the line that hit me the hardest, having coached in Columbus Public, when I coached in Linden, CPD
shit makes a little more
has
sense
a budget
out
of
there.
$360 million. Meanwhile, Columbus Public Schools don't have fucking air conditioning.
Right.
They had to shut down school while I was coaching there because they don't have air conditioners in the building.
Listen, I went to Gehenna Lincoln back from 2000 to 2004, and we didn't have air conditioning in certain of our buildings, and we were in the suburbs.
Right.
So imagine how the niggas in the inner city had.
No doubt. No doubt.
Listen, and I know people that went to school in my time knew it, especially if you know anything about C building. There were rats and mice running around the floor while you were in school.
Right. But meanwhile,
But the police got tanks.
CBD got
with
tanks.
With cup holders.
Right.
And dice in the rear view. That they only get to run around on the training track.
Right.
Until something like this happens.
It's funny because I've been listening to Columbus City Council and all their meetings recently because I'm just trying to be more engaged and listen to what the fuck's going on. And helicopters came up. I can't tell you a single fucking night that I've lived in this neighborhood where I haven't heard a helicopter in the air. Guess what? It's all taxpayer funded. How many fucking crimes is the helicopter assisting in?
I don't think it's any crimes at all.
Maybe 30 a year.
I don't think it's any crimes. I think it's more wrangling up areas.
It ain't shit. That's the problem.
Well, see, here's the thing. This is a lot. This is a lot of. I don't know. This may shed light to a lot of white people that never knew it. In neighborhoods with black folks where we're always in the house. First of all, our parents won't allow us to stay in the house. Just as a black families will not allow their child to stay. Get the fuck out the house.
Right.
Some people aren't allowed to come back into the house until the street lights come on type shit.
Right.
So, if you're in a situation where you're like that, where I can't just be in the house because there's not going to be a lot of room sometimes.
Yeah.
I then have to hang out with my friends outside. And a lot of the helicopter turns into dispersing crowds. It's not that this is a crowd, it's that we all stay in this building.
Right.
And we don't have anywhere to go because our houses are taken up. It's just this stoop is the only place we have at the moment, and you're running us off, and that ends up making us look like criminals. Like we don't live here. We live here.
Absolutely. But that's the point, right?
I mean, that's a lot of the situation in general. So when you hear those helicopters, I mean, let's be honest, motherfuckers don't hear shootings enough for helicopters to be out.
No.
What are you out for?
Right.
The only reason a helicopter should be out is to shine a spotlight down on a fleeing suspect or a crime scene.
You know what Quinlan said, or his deputy chief.
I don't even know who that is.
The deputy chief of CPD. So, the chief is Quinlan. It was actually his deputy chief that said this. So basically, his second in command or his third in command. He's like, no, we use helicopters to track down domestic violence people, and I'm like, wouldn't that be better served to just having a car sit outside their fucking house until the person either came home or didn't come home?
Well,
are you actually tracking down anybody from a helicopter?
Well, how do you track domestic violence?
Right.
How do you track? it's either already happened and they're on the run,
right,
or they're calling it in as it has happened.
Yeah, no, it's completely
either way. You can't catch them with a helicopter.
Right.
You would be more apt to catch them on foot or in vehicle than you would be in a helicopter.
No fucking doubt.
And then you got, excuse me for the ones that, and then you got these dumb white people that hear shit like defund the police and they're like, oh, you want to take away the police. What the fuck it's not about taking away the police. What are they doing with half the shit that they're getting?
What the fuck do they need tanks for? What the fuck do they need half the riot gear they have?
What do they need SWAT gear for?
Right.
If they are not SWAT specifically, why does every police officer need a helmet and all that?
They don't. That's the whole
listen, I'm not saying that every police officer doesn't need a vest, but I'm saying if you policed properly, then you would know what places were in danger.
Right.
And
but instead, they're showing up to peaceful protests and looking like the fucking Avengers.
And you're making yourself even beyond that, you're making yourself the enemy. You're making the people that didn't look at you as the assholes before say,
now they're
wait
starting
a minute, why the fuck are y'all doing that?
I mean, honestly, do you think that white folks would have rallied around the Black Lives Matter protest the way they did if the police hadn't intervened in the first 3 days?
Wait. Ask the question again.
I said, do you think white folks would have rallied around the Black Lives Matter cause had police not been over-enforcing on the first 3 days of the protest?
Well, certain would.
But do you think it would have gained as much steam as it did?
First of all,
had police not literally
No.
Killed a girl. Killed a white girl by pepper spraying her, and she had asthma. Do you think that it would have caught as much attention as it did?
Now, and when you say it, you mean what?
I mean picking up the cause in terms of police brutality. Would police brutality...
But when you say it, you mean what? Black Lives Matter, you mean what?
I mean more so on the police brutality and defund the police. Do you think defund the police would have been as big a thing with white folks had they not overreacted to peaceful protests with the Black Lives Matter?
Okay, now I follow your question. Okay, I missed some spots.
No, and I did jump around a little bit, so my apologies there.
No, because that is a white term. Defund the police is a white term. That's something that black people wouldn't even think possible.
No.
Defund? You mean take money from the police? I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think that was possible until white folks started saying it.
We've got somebody chiming in the chat. So we got Luke chiming in on the chat.
My G.
In terms of helicopters, 5,000 flight hours per year, 16 hours a day, 7 days per week. 16 hours per day, 7 days a week on helicopters.
Are you fucking serious?
Just imagine the maintenance costs on that. Imagine, guess what? You could put fucking air conditioners in Columbus public schools for that amount.
There's not enough fleeing suspects per day. And let me say something as well. If there is enough fleeing suspects,
then you're not doing your job on the ground.
Why are there so many fat-ass police officers?
Right.
I feel like police should start shooting police themselves. Like when horses go out and you're like, yeah, you don't have anything left. Yeah, that's the risk of being a cop and being able to kill freely. That we might have to turn you into glue.
Your own brother might have to shoot.
We might have to turn you into glue. We might have to glue our badges.
I feel like. So I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey a lot recently. I feel like that's what the Spartans would have done to one another.
Real talk though. The Spartans, the Vikings. Once you get too old, are you gonna take this leap of death? Because we can't continue feeding you.
Right.
So the noble thing would be dive off this mountain and have a noble death.
Right.
And back in the day, we would agree to that. I would agree to that at this point. If that meant I'm taking food out of my nephew's and my daughter's mouth and all you're asking me to do is dive off of this cliff, I guess it's time to fly.
Right.
R. Kelly, full circle we've came. Just give me an MP3 player and those fucking iPod ear phones I bought you last year, and you got a dad off a cliff, baby.
And
not
I
a big deal.
I tell you what, we're at 155. That might be where we have to end it. 'Cause that was a perfect ending. Full circle. R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly. Kill yourselves.
Fools agree. Agree. And we can end it off that. Love every fucking body.
Cliff, what do you got to take us out?
Love them all.
Oh, love them all?
Love everybody. At least until they give you a reason not to. Then just love the ones that allow you to. Fuck the rest. Fuck the rest.
Goodness gracious. Well, with all that being said, do me a favor. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. If you're listening to us on the podcast, leave us a review. Give us a like. Check us out at Foolproof Net on Twitter. Check us out on Foolproof Entertainment Network on Facebook.
And send all titty pictures to Foolproof ENT at Foolproof ENT on Twitter DMs. Is that the right page?
At Foolproof Net. At Foolproof Net on Twitter.
I said ENT.
You said ENT.
Switch the words around.
But if you want Instagram, it is Foolproof ENT Net. On Instagram.
Oh, we got an Instagram page?
I told you, I'm not all about it, but we do have an Instagram. With all that being said, we love you. Have a good night. Have a happy 4th of July. Life. Be safe. And wear your mask.
Till next time, fuckers. You say wear your mask?
I did. We didn't even get